Scrappy peeps, Suzanna here today to share with you this layout that I made just for fun. I didn't actually think that I had recorded a video, but it transpires that I did. I was just playing around. This is not for design team or anything else. I just wanted to scrap these pictures of my itty bitty kitty, and I just needed to do something creative because there's been stuff going on in life lately, and I just needed to work out some stuff. And this is what I tend to do when I just need to kind of sit and process and think things through. I have my new Nuvo mists here, the pink that you see closest to the page there, and then I also have a shimmers mist as well, and between the two I'm watering them down to create a little bit of a watercolor. And you can see I've drawn in pencil on the paper 8 circles, and I'm just alternating the depths of color in these pinks and sort of purples, and it's actually really not purple, it's sort of more of a magenta. So I'm altering playing around with the hues in those colors and just outlining those circles, knowing that I want to put 8 circles on top of them, and these are just going to be the borders to those circles. I really like the way that the Mica Mist from Nuvo turned out. It has a ton of shimmer to it, which is really cool, but it's not a really obvious shimmer, if that makes any sense. You definitely need to hold the paper in the light to see the shimmer. It's really cool. I think you can see it in the close-ups. So again, I'm just watering things down. I'm mixing the Mica Mist and the shimmers and getting different colors to just outline those circles there. So I finished that and it's dried, and I now have pulled the magentas and the pinks and sort of that creamy pink ecru from the 6x6 paper pad from Paige Taylor Evans Pick Me Up collection, and I had that strip left over from a scrap room kit project that I worked on, so I put that down the bottom because I thought it was a nice way to balance the circles on the top and then have something weighted at the bottom of the page. And now I'm just going to run various things through my big kick with a circle die and create those circles that I'm then going to embellish. So I have 2 pictures of Belle, who is our cat, and in our house, the more nicknames you have, the more in favor you are at that moment in time, so to speak. And while her name is Belle and she knows that she's Belle, she's also our itty bitty kitty. And you'll read, if you read the journaling, the full nickname is the Itty Bitty Kitty Living in Richmond City. We do a lot of rhyming in our house, and so that's just the way we are, and that's how the title of this layout came about. So you can see I've used 4 of the pattern papers there. I have some Coordinations cardstock, and now I have a little bit of gold foil paper, and I'm going to use the inner part of that circle die cut collection from Little B, which has additional circles. You'll see when you look at it. And I'm going to put that as another supplement to the gold that is in some of the elements that I'm going to use on the page. And you can see I've put the gold on top and then that magenta coordination circle on the bottom, and I am actually going to switch those around. And the reason I switch those around is just the weight on the page. I have those 2 magenta circles really on the bottom, and I need a little bit more of that heaviness on the top, so I'll move it. I tried erasing the pencil lines, but you can't really erase them once you've painted over them, is what I discovered. And it doesn't really matter because the circles of the pictures and the pattern papers are exactly the same size as the pencil, so you can't really see it. So that's where I've switched the circles there. I'm going to show you one of these fussy cuts, and then I'm going to cut out the rest of it. But I decided to fussy cut a bunch of flowers from the 6x6 page that I had left over from the scrap room kit, and I'm going to use those to embellish the page. And again, I tried to get the ones that had the pinks and the magentas in them, so that it really is sort of more of a monochromatic page there. And now I have a chipboard piece, and it has gold in it, and that chipboard piece says "You Do You," and I'm going to adhere that down. She's such a cute cat. She's nothing, she's just a domestic short hair cat, and she's tuxedo, and her little white socks are just absolutely adorable. So that is a notebook piece, and that's where I actually end up doing the journaling there. And that's the other picture of her. We have 2 of these gray blankets, and she absolutely loves to sit on them. And whenever one of the kids want to come and want her to sit with them, they always put the blanket down. So I have a file folder that you saw me pull out and then put away, that when I have leftover die cuts, I just save them, because you never know when you're going to need them, especially things like these little foliage pieces, those leaves. They've come in pretty handy on several occasions. So I found those and decided to just cut up a few of those, and then that little flower was a nice filler for one of the circles as well. And what I do off camera is I take one of my souffle pens and just outline the inside of that circle there, and you'll see that in the close-ups as well. And I like the white because it draws the page back to the white background, adds a little texture to that. And this is the gold circle. It's actually a circle within a circle is how that ended up being, in order to get the circles that I wanted, the inside texture there. I toyed around with putting some thread behind some of the circles, but really I like it the way it is, and I didn't feel like pulling it apart, and it was kind of an afterthought. I go back and forth with adhesives, and you'll see that in a lot of my layouts, that I go back and forth between that Prima glue pen as well as my ATG. One of the things that I also end up doing off camera, I find a lot of things when I'm photographing my layouts, and that's why a fair amount of stuff ends up happening off camera, and I apologize for that, but they're sort of second design opinions when you see the layout for a different time. But I take a fine black pen, and that magenta circle where the flower is on the top right hand corner, I do just outline that, and that third shot of black just complements the pictures with the cat in them. So I have some tiny words that I'm putting in that are also gold foiled. The one up the top there that I just put down says, "This makes me smile." And then I have these puffy stickers from Ellie's Studio, and that one says, "Good stuff." And I just like the way that the circle goes, especially with that flower there. And I put a little gold heart, chipboard heart from the Paige Taylor Evans collection, Pick Me Up collection, in the center there. So most of the elements are from the Pick Me Up collection, but there were a few bits and bobs that I just put in. I knew I had these gold letters that I'd gotten from Tuesday Morning, and I wanted to put a gold B in, B for Belle, and because I knew I was going to put the title down below the circles, but I also needed some things to fill the circle, and I like to have things that have significance to me. Now, I felt that that circle was sort of empty, kind of bare in a way, and I wanted to do something else, so I just gave it a little border there. On that right hand side, it's just a piece of leftover paper, and I just ran that through the die cut machine with the same circle size die so that it was exactly the same, and then just cut it down the center there. And then I wanted to fill in some of the spaces between the circles and on the edges of the circles on the upper and lower border. So I am using those enamel dots from Simple Stories, and then I'm also going to go in a little bit, and I'm going to use some sequins from SpiegelMom Scraps, and the sequins collection that I end up using is called Rose Wine Explosion. It's some really cool just pinks and purples, and it's more, again, it's more magenta than purple, and it worked perfectly with the colors that I decided to pull in this collection there. So I wanted something on top of that little gold there, and I had a Bella Boulevard bow. I took it off the paper clip and just used some glue dots to adhere that bow down. So this is the Rose Wine Explosion sequins mix from SpiegelMom Scraps, and if you do go shopping at SpiegelMom Scraps and you use the code Suzanna15, you can get 15% off. Once a month, Jody does some pretty cool releases of some fun colors and sequence mixes. She does also sell shimmers, and the shimmers that I use, I can't remember off the top of my head, but you can also use the 15% off on shimmers, anything that's in the store. I use my Scotch Quick Dry adhesive to put sequins down. I literally just pick them up with my finger. Sometimes I use the tip of the fine line applicator, put the glue down on the page, and then just drop the sequins on top of it. So these are little stickers. I believe they're part of Heidi's planner collection, and I use the gold for Itty Bitty, and then I'm going to use those letters that you see to the left from Fancy Pants to put in Kitty. Another thing that I end up doing off camera is you see that I have that strip down the bottom of the page, but I also felt like I needed to add a little something extra there. So I did fussy cut 2 more flowers and put in a trio of sequins down the bottom there. Again, just for that balance between all of the heaviness of the circles at the top and wanting to have something at the bottom of the page there. So that, my friends, is going to be my just for fun, think it out, think it through layout. And I hope you enjoyed the video. There are some close-ups to follow. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them in the box down below. Thank you for following me, and thank you for watching. Thanks for stopping by. Take care.